Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and you are listening to another episode of the world famous University Love, the best podcast in one, two, three galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. We are coming to you live today. Today is Tuesday, January 28th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world's greatest podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in, come on in, come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, email the show, tony@tonyrizano.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have more thrills, more chills, all that excitement in the upcoming future, okay? In the meantime, today we have something very important that we want to talk about. Today we want to discuss with you, we want to discuss a formula. People have formulas all the time. I saw a clip of Adam Sandler, a movie that he was in called Blended. And I said, oh yeah, I believe that was a pretty good movie. Blended, starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore and a host of others. Okay, but no, it was a good movie. The Adam Sandler movies have a formula, and if you know, you know. Okay, Adam Sandler always starts off. He does the hero's journey. Okay, starts off always. It's never the greatest. Okay, the water boy, he was just a lonely water boy. He discovered that he was good at playing foosball. He did that, went on to great things. Won the girl, won the game, all that stuff. Adam Sandler, I almost called the man Adam Formula. But Adam Sandler has a formula that has worked in his movies since I was a teenager. They work, they work, they work. Except for Little Nicky, which I didn't think was that great. But the rest of them, I like, and they're good movies. You know how they're gonna turn out. You know that things are gonna go well eventually. In most Adam Sandler movies, every now and then he'll do a movie that throw in a wrinkle, like a movie that I saw a long time ago. It's called Punch Drunk Love, and it was more on the artsy side. It wasn't typical Adam Sandler comedy, but it was a good movie. But Adam Sandler, for the most part, he has a formula, and you too, ladies and gentlemen, can have a formula when it comes to doing things in your business. Um, you hear sometimes you hear you'll see somebody give a speech, and they can give a speech they can give a speech on a different thing, but they always have a certain thing that they'll go back to. You know, I was listening to uh, I was listening to this guy named Jim Rohn, and he was talking about Scorpion and the Frog, and I've heard him say that a couple of times. Scorpion and the Frog, Scorpion and the Frog. You know, he's talking about different things, but he, he'll tell he'll tell a similar story. In a lot of his speeches that I've heard. It's the same as um, you know, Martin Luther King. I I listened to a book once about Martin Luther King, and he had these, and it was these speeches, and they were different speeches, and different. It was different times in his life. Early early stages of him talking, the middle stages and the later stages before he was assassinated. And they all had a kind of formula. And it's just like if you ever go to church. I go to church. I watch church every week. Pastor, he has he has a formula that every story is different, every week is different, but at the end there's gonna be that he's gonna tell a story, and he's gonna wrap it up in the kind of way that he wraps his story up every week. And I always get a kick because I know, not that I, not that I know that he's what he's directly going to talk about, but I know, like, when his inflection, I know which way we're kind of headed. And I enjoy his sermons, and so what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, is formulas are not bad. Hey, you know, I even had to think to myself yesterday. I was recording and I was talking, and I was like, I bet you it's about 15 minutes because I felt the need to start wrapping it up. And I looked down at the at the clock. And sure enough, it was like 15 minutes. I have a formula for this show: 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. You don't want to go. You don't want to. 5 minutes is cool, but that's kind of quick. But one person talking for an hour, you really don't want to. You really don't want to get off into that too much. Sometimes if you're making a point, you can, but a lot of times. So I'm like 15 or 20 minutes. It's good for me. It's the formula that I've worked out in my brain. It works. I like it, and so everybody, ladies and gentlemen, can have a formula, and it's okay. I saw a clip of a basketball player named Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Buckets, okay? Jimmy Butler. He is on the Miami Heat. He has been complaining about a trade for the last few months. And now this is Jimmy Butler everywhere. Anytime I see Jimmy Butler on a team, it's only a matter of time that I know he's going to want to get traded. He was in Chicago, Minnesota, Philadelphia, now Miami. Every place. Jimmy Butler has a formula, okay? Eventually, he's gonna get traded, and so it works for him. Your formula can work for you, whether you're writing. If you ever watch a Spike Lee movie, Spike Lee has at some point in the movie. My wife can point this out better than I can. At some point in the movie, somebody's gonna make some type of speech in the Spike Lee movie, and then they're gonna have like a background of different photos and stuff. And my wife always points it out. My wife will say, "Oh, here it comes. Here comes the speech." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, I watch a lot of Spike Lee movies. I don't know this. I don't know when the speech is coming. She said, "I know that much." And so every time it'll come up and make a speech. With Spike Lee, he has movies that I like. You know, Uh, this is all art though. Everybody has movies that they like and movies that they don't like. Tyler Perry, he has a formula. Um, he has a good formula that works for him. When I watch a Tyler Perry movie, I know what I'm gonna get. I enjoy it. I watch it, and move on. Um, Martin Scorsese has a formula. Okay. Uh, if you ever played baseball with somebody, and you know you can tell when somebody wants to try to hit the ball the opposite way. It's a formula. If you have, I'm gonna go a little baseball. I'm gonna go a little baseball to you right now. If you got men on base, second and third, one out, uh, and people know that you always pull the ball. At some point, you gotta try to switch it up and like, all right, let me go opposite field, okay? But a lot of times, people know what you're gonna do in a baseball game. You have a formula. This guy is a pull ball. This guy pulls the ball, okay? He pulls it every time, and so there is a formula. And so, I remember Steve Jobs. He always wore the turtleneck because that was a formula for Steve Jobs. He said, "Hey, I don't want to spend all day trying to pick out my outfit. I just wear a black turtleneck to work." It worked for Steve Jobs. I remember there was a girl. She went to jail, but she started doing the black turtleneck. She was baby Steve Jobs. She was Stephanie Jobs, I guess. That's for me and you. But anyway, Holmes was her name. Elizabeth Holmes, I believe. She had some kind of blood spinning machine thing. It didn't quite work out for Miss Elizabeth Holmes. I think she went to jail. I don't know if she's still in jail or not. I don't keep up with that. But hey, everybody, whether it be the clothes you wear, whether it be a speech that you make, whether it be you on a podcast, whether it be you want to figure out a formula to tell your story. You have a cadence, you have something that that you can say that you want to do. Figure these things out, craft those things. It's just like when kind of content you want. Like what the one thing you don't want to be is all over the place when it comes to creating content. Have a formula. Have a formula. Formula. Okay? It's there. Have a formula. Okay. If you want to talk about affiliate marketing, talk about affiliate marketing. If you want to discuss copywriting, discuss copywriting. Now this is for your foundation. You build the foundation and you can build on top of the foundation. But in the beginning, you don't want to be all you don't want to seem so scatterbrained, okay? Because you are trying to attract an audience. You want an audience. And the more you can get in the audience, then as I told you yesterday or the other day, the more success you get in one area, people are going to ask you about other things. So it just comes. But at first, build your base, okay? Build your foundation. You are looking to attract people to you, because in order to sell anything, whether it be a service, a product, does not matter. In order to sell anything, you want to have people that's going to listen. And we all know everybody that comes into your store is not going to buy from your store, whether it be a virtual store or a real brick and mortar store. You know, you go into these I live in Atlanta. You go to Phipps Plaza. Phipps Plaza has very expensive stores. You go in there, they know 100% of the time they're not going to get the customer. Some people are going to go in there, buy. Some people are going to go in there, walk around, look, and go, "Ooh, look at all these prices." And some people are just gonna just be in there to be in there. And so that's that. But you wanna bring enough people in, you know, enough qualified people to say, "Hey, I sell this, I do this, I do that." And then the more that they know you, the more that they like you, of course, the more they will buy from you. And it's just a formula of what works. You can. I started reading this book. Let me get this book. Let me get this book for you. I started reading this book. This book is gonna be an interesting book. I like it already. And this book says something that's very good. It's called "Making Them Believe" by Dan Kennedy and Chip Kessler. Okay, it is how one of America's legendary rogues marketed the goat testicle solution and made millions. So far, very interesting book, and it's a book about marketing because this doctor, we use quotation marks, he started selling people on this stuff, and so but it's about marketing. It's about marketing yourself. Figuring out what people want, figure out what people need. Telling, selling, sell. You tell them the problem, you sell them the solution. Okay, that's in anything. You see somebody coming to. I'm gonna give you an example, and then we'll raise on up out of here. Uh, I'll give you an example. My wife wants me to dress. My wife would. My wife prefers if I dress, you know, because when I'm, you know, working, I don't dress as well as my wife would like me to. And so if my wife takes me into a clothing store, step number one, I'm gonna have to come out of there with some clothes. Step number two, they're gonna have to be nicer clothes. So if somebody sees me coming into the store, my problem is I want to make my wife happy. So I'm gonna get an outfit to please my wife. So when I go into the store, you know, they I tell them my problem and then they sell me a solution. The clothes is not about the clothes for me or for my wife. For my wife says I'm a handsome guy. She would like me to look nice. For me, I would like to make my wife happy. And so I would like to dress up a little more. So when I go into the clothing store, I have every intention of buying. I don't go into the clothing store often, but when I do, I go with the intention of buying stuff. Okay. I have a problem. They have a solution. They are here to sell me. They are here to sell me my problem. And the solution is I dressing nicely and making my wife happy. Okay. That is that. It's the same as when you get a haircut. You know, your problem. You want to look nice. The solution, your hair. Get a haircut. Problem, solution. Problem, solution. When you figure out, hey, I want to sell people the solution. What is the problem? It's just like now Eggs are expensive. Trump is in office. People are nervous. People are scared. But that's a problem, and you can solve. And you could solve. And if you can figure out what to sell them, whether it be whether it be cheaper eggs, whether it be how to make more money so they can afford to buy the eggs that are they're priced at now. Whatever it is, you have to figure out the problem. And when I'm done with this book, ladies and gentlemen, I will take notes and I will give you some marketing tips that I learned from the book. But if you want to read the book for yourself, you can always go to Amazon or you can go to wherever you like to buy books, whether it be Barnes and Noble and any other bookstore, you know. But the book is called Making Them Believe, and I like books that Dan Kennedy writes because he talks in a very simple way about marketing. It's not a bunch of it's not a bunch of it's not a 30-step process. It's hey, use whatever you can to market your product. Whether it be radio, internet. He they always he says he don't have email and all that, which I understand. I understand why he wouldn't. But the thing about him is he's like, hey, there's no such thing as use every source of media you can. Don't just rely on the internet or just don't. He said unturn turn over every stone. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, everybody, peace.